I was tagged in this woman's post about a week ago. She says this is the 10 things that she has learned since leaving Christianity 10 years ago. If you are on TikTok, please go over to her page and support her by giving her views over on her TikTok page. If you're on my YouTube page, I am going to connect her video after I finish talking. I think it is so important to talk about religious programming and how it socializes women into many of the behaviors that we see over and over again. So many people come to my comment section and they are so frustrated with how women behave. But it's like, why are you so frustrated with how women behave, especially when many of us are raised in the church? Many women are raised in the church from the time that we are children. And then people are like, oh my God, why didn't she just say no? Why doesn't she have boundaries? Why is she accepting of this behavior? And it's because many of the points that this woman makes about religion. And like I said, I'm not going to hit all of her points. I'm going to talk about the ones that I think are crucial. Like her second point, she stuck and stayed in religion out of fear. So if you're going to be in an organization, you should be in it because you're being loved and supported. And this is one of the reasons why some women stay in bad relationships. It's out of fear or it's out of duty or whatever. And that is because of the programming of the church. Women stick and stay because they think that they're going to lose community. They're going to be shamed. They think that, well, because of religion, they think that they're going to hell or whatnot because of indoctrination, because of religious programming. And so then when they get into these relationships, they stick and stay because of fear of how they're going to be judged, fear of how, the church is going to talk about them or whatnot. It all parallels and it starts with the church. She talks about how she's about 10 years behind in her career advancement, and it's because of the time that she spent in church. And when I think about all of the time, energy, and money women pour into the church only for men to be pedestalized and men to be the ones that make money, and men are the ones that are the leaders and getting the glory of God and all of that. It's so annoying. It's no different than the pimp and the lady of the night game. I call it a pimpocracy. They want women to go out and make the money to come back and put it into the church. Women are the backbone of the church, but women get no glory. Women barely get supported, but women are the ones that are doing the volunteering and mostly spending of the tithes and offering. And when you think about it, spending time during the church services, when Bible study, the cooking, the cleaning, and all of that. Think about all of that energy. If she had put it into herself, how much further she could have been, how much further you could have been. All of that money. And then I'm going to make this a little specific because I am a Black woman. But when people start talking about how overweight Black women are, well, some of that comes because of the religiosity of Black women and how we're volunteering our time and energy to the church, and how maybe if we took some of that time that we dedicated to church or other people or men or whatnot and poured into ourselves, maybe women would have some energy, some space, some opportunity to cook for ourselves and work out. Her fifth point, and I wrote some of it down, she says being good, meek, and agreeable has been a detriment. It's earned her mistreatment and abuse. And this point was very important because so many times if you listen to how men talk, they want a woman that is agreeable, malleable, and all of that. And a lot of times that's the reason why they go after naive women or younger women, because they want that woman that is agreeable. And she said it's been to her detriment because she got abused because of it. And this is the reason why I talk the way I talk in my post, and the reason why I try to have some grace for women, because so many times the whole boundary thing, it's bred out of us. It's socialized out of us. We are taught to be agreeable and go with the flow. And then people shame women for not knowing any better. It's literally part of the programming. Folks get so upset that women are programmed and then follow the program that they're given. That's the reason why we have to deprogram and deconstruct from all of this religious indoctrination so that we can reprogram ourselves to have some better intuition, to have some better behaviors, to better see the red flags that are waving. And then I'm going to jump to her 10th point, that she was in a cult. She said because it had all of the markers: behavior control, info control, thought control, and emotional control. And you cannot tell me that the church is not sitting up here doing all of that, because it really is. It does try to smash you into submission. It does oppress how you think. It oppresses women and their roles in life, and basically tells us that we are supposed to behave a certain way. And we don't behave a certain way, that's when they come out and they start shaming you with all of their various tactics. Religion is a tool of patriarchy. And until you get out of it and you can see it for what it is, then you are stuck and you're going to stay repeating these exact same patterns. And they want you to stay in those patterns because it benefits men. It benefits the church overall because they have all of this unpaid labor off the backs and bodies of women. Women who will continue to do all of this and birth more children to come in and continue to be the ones that uphold the church. Y'all already know I have deconstructed. No, I didn't even really have to deconstruct because I was in church, but I wasn't really programmed completely. But still, I left church a long time ago. I can see all of this. And I know that somebody is going to come in and want to defend church. I get it. Want to defend religion overall. I get it. But regardless, no matter the church, no matter the culture, it's still a programming tool. And this is the reason why we can see these same patterns repeated, no matter the race, the country of origin, the culture. The religion doesn't really matter as long as it's one of these Abrahamic, male-dominated religions. These patterns repeat because it's all programming to keep women meek, mild, and agreeable. That's what it does, period and point blank. I don't care that your church does something, slightly different. It's still a programming tool that controls your thoughts and behaviors and keeps women in a certain box. Take it for what this is my stance, and I'm glad that she is speaking out with her 10 things. And like I said, if you are on TikTok, go find her. She is Nakia Aesha. If you're on my YouTube page, I'll connect her video now.
This year marks 10 years since I left Christianity, and I would like to share 10 things that I've learned since leaving. Number 1, I was never under the attack of the devil. That was my intuition fighting to wake me up. My doubts were justified. Number 2, I clung very strongly to my religious beliefs and became super active in church, mostly out of fear. I feared losing my community if I was not active and if I didn't cling to those beliefs. I feared the admonishment of religious leaders. I feared also what would happen to my soul if I did not work as hard as I did in the vineyard. Number 3, the time and money that I invested in church limited my professional mobility. I was professionally stuck for a very long time, and it delayed my opportunity to advance professionally and educationally. So I'm about 10 years behind where I should be, but I'm getting there. Number 4, the good old purity indoctrination that I clung to so fiercely ruined my dating life and made it so that I didn't understand myself or how to date other people. Therefore, I didn't learn the ropes of how to date until I was in my mid-30s. Number 5, being a good, meek, agreeable, humble woman has been mostly to my detriment. It's not going to earn me a star in my crown or a seat next to the Father in heaven. It's mostly earned me mistreatment, abuse, and opportunities to be scammed. Number 6, most of my mental health struggles were caused by my religious beliefs. I didn't start healing until I left. Number 7, I didn't realize until I left Christianity that I did not understand evolution as well as I thought I did. Number 8, my former church, while run by Black people, perpetuated anti-Black ideologies. Very anti-Black ideologies, such as no natural hair, no African garb. Are we not African descendants? Are we not Black? What are you talking about? Number 9, I learned that I could navigate tragedy and grief without a God and be healthy. I didn't need to pray more. I didn't need to speak in tongues. I didn't need to shout more. I didn't need to come boldly to the throne of grace and lay prostrate. No, I needed to find real solutions to help me navigate difficulties in my life. And I did find those real solutions, and they have worked and are continuing to work for me. And finally, the 10th thing that I've learned since walking away from Christianity 10 years ago is that I was in a cult. There was behavior control, information control, thought control, and emotional control, all components of a cult. It took me a very long time to not only realize that, but accept it. So those are the 10 things that I've learned since leaving Christianity. What's something that you've learned since leaving your religion?
So content creator Ask Aubrey shared a video of this man. It's a short video and I'm not going to share it, but she captions it with, so he sees women as children, but still wants to date them. And that really does bring into focus why they go after young women before they have had any experience, because they do want to mold somebody, but they want to get as young as they can and it still be legal. But this is also part of religious indoctrination. So they want these women that are meek and mild and malleable so that they can feel like the gods in their homes. So this is no reason. It makes sense why they see us as children, because church has programmed them to believe that they are gods in their own home. God, the pastor, and then, other random men come next, but these random men are still above women, and that's the reason why they feel like they are deserved submission. They are deserving of a servant, because they are demigods and they deserve to have children that they can mold and control and make sure that they are doing what women are supposed to be doing, which is whatever the men say that they are supposed to do. In this video, he says women are children, they have no self-awareness, and they should be treated like children because of this. He says that women whine. They just do all of this for attention. And that's the reason why women should be treated like children. Now, when somebody starts talking like this is the reason why they do not want grown women. That's the reason why they come in and they speak so terribly of women that have just had the nerve to live another year, even if they themselves are old, because they know that it's easier to mold. It's easier to get into the brains of a young woman who is probably still indoctrinated in religion, to make her do what he wants her to do. So Roller Girl said to this, it's why women are outpacing them in education, and they call it woke. They denigrate education because women are outpacing them in education. And even younger women right now are closing the wage gap because we are outpacing them in education. It's just going to take a little while before we start to see the benefits and it averages out as far as the wage gap goes. All right, she continues with, these guys have zero emotional intelligence score and don't even know what emotional intelligence is, and they don't care to learn. Women are sitting up here saying we want somebody that is supportive, caring, that understands reciprocity and all of this, and then they come on the internet and say all of these things that denigrate women as equal humans. They talk to us like we just need them, and we're like, what do I do without men around? And it's no wonder that women are rejecting this. And these men, if they continue to listen to other men, is going to help them stay single and lonely. Women do fine. Women thrive, being single without the yoke of a man that's pulling her down. But these dudes do not do that well. That is the reason why many of them are failing and flailing. So Vivian says, so if women are children, what does that make him? W.L. Newsom says, why won't women date me? Mysterious. Ashley says, nasty effing orange tan. My homie Lavender posted this meme, and I'll get out the way if you need to take a screenshot. She says, what a terrible day to have eyes. And she added, and ears to listen to this. That's the reason I'm not even going to play that video. Nelsot says, long rant to say you don't have the mental acumen to outsmart a free-thinking woman. Karina says, this narrative is being pushed on the other apps as well. It's Christian nationalists pushing it. Laura says, I swear to God, if I ever experience someone treating me like a child, their reputation is over with. They won't be able to get a job by the time I'm done with them. Okay, Laura. And then Anxious says, ladies, it's with great sadness to inform you, men. I made sure to be out of the way just in case you need to take a screenshot of this. Now, Funky Chick says, as soon as I see the cross necklace, my brain goes into ignore mode. I don't give an F what this so-called Christian has to say about anything, especially women. And we've already talked about why women need to deconstruct from religion, because it keeps you in these patterns with these types that want to simply control and mold you as a person. And they don't really even want you as a person. They want you as a servant. They want you as a wife appliance. Miss Lowly says, so he wants to date people with the mentality of a child. Yes, because he has the mentality of a child. It matches. Trish says, great. So you won't expect your future partner to do any adulting like cooking, cleaning, childcare, etc., except they will expect all of that. Anyways, I put all of this in because I want y'all to see how all of this goes together. The men are programmed to be some sort of demigod with the entitlement of a wife appliance or a girlfriend appliance, incubator bang maid, whereas women are programmed and socialized to just go along with it, go with the flow, be agreeable, smile, be sweet, and all of that. And this is precisely why it takes a while to socialize women out of that, to deprogram women out of that, because so many different messages are trying to shame women back into these traditional roles, these traditional behaviors and all of that. Hopefully all of this connects for y'all. Join the conversation. Let me know what you think. I came across this post on Threads from David Ruffin, No Temptations, saying, I came across a post on Facebook earlier about Keith Sweat. He's 63 now, and during a recent performance, he paused to reflect on why he's single. According to the post, he said, you got to bring something to the table to get something from me. The person who shared it wasn't just reacting, they were analyzing. They pointed out how men like him often seek out younger women, then turn around and complain when those women don't want to perform domestic labor as part of the relationship. Not because love isn't real, but because the terms are one-sided. What stood out to me wasn't just what he said, it was what it revealed. That for many men, the table is a metaphor for control. They speak of standards, but rarely interrogate their own. They talk about what they're owed, but not about who they are when nothing is owed to them. It's not about partnership, it's about leverage. He continues with, that's why Michelle Obama's comments at Essence Fest a few years ago feel relevant. She was there as part of her Becoming book tour and sat down with Gayle King for a conversation on love and equality. She says something that reframed the entire discussion. Sometimes we end up with the wrong people because somebody can have the right salary and the wrong heart, the wrong soul, the wrong core. She wasn't romanticizing struggle. She was naming something that gets lost when relationships are treated like transactions: alignment, value, depth. Her point was that equality in relationships isn't about matching paychecks. It's about mutual care, honesty, and shared values, because money alone doesn't make someone good for you. Status doesn't equal character. Titles don't guarantee trust. So when Keith Sweat says, bring something to the table, it begs the question, what kind of table is it? What are you offering beyond access? Because if the expectation is submission without reciprocity, obedience without intimacy, then it isn't a partnership you're asking for. It's labor. Because of this post, I did go over to Facebook to find what was going on as far as Keith Sweat and going viral. It wasn't that hard to find. But at the end of the day, it is very strange how men, no matter how much money they have an expectation of a wife appliance, that even if this man could outsource, the cooking and cleaning, he still chooses not to, because he has an expectation that whatever romantic relationship he's in is going to take care of that for him, even if it is simply unpaid labor. His presence alone is enough to dictate that she should come in and cook and clean for him, because they all believe that they are demigods within their own home. They don't believe in equality. They believe that they deserve a servant. And this man is old enough to have found someone that is on the same level with him, that would love and support him. But since he expects a servant, he's been getting what the rest of these broke dudes are getting. Nothing, because who wants to be a servant forever, especially when you have the money to outsource it? Let's look at a few of the comments under his post, and then I'll go over to Facebook and look at the post. So Steffi Joe says, spot on. If Keith Sweat is still single and whining about it at 63, then it seems he brings nothing to the table but money and is likely super toxic. There's plenty of women out there looking for a man with money. If he can't keep any of them interested, that's 100% on him. And the thing about it is, flashing your money can only keep someone interested for so long. And what type of women is he looking for? He's 63 years old. Is he looking for, like, how young is he looking for? Because women his age are probably, established already. They probably aren't clamoring. And I know people like to act like, there's a bunch of gold diggers out there, but women have been in the workforce for a long time. I wish we could shift this conversation beyond this, but these men are largely transactional, and then they get upset with women who they attract that will be transactional as well. If they would look at relationships as something where it's like mutual care, support, love, then maybe they would find that. But all they want is a servant and to dangle their money, when you could literally just pay someone and outsource that unpaid labor. And make it paid labor. Just like outsource it. Have someone come in, do your meal prep, do your cleaning or whatnot, and then just pay them. And then Gingerly Ortiz says, Right and Wrong Way is a song expressing to a young girl that she may be young, but she's ready to learn. Yes, I do remember that song. Listening to that song as an adult was like, wow, he is really putting it out there that he wants somebody young. I wonder if he's still like that. Okay, so here's the post from Edgar Allan's Hoe saying 63-year-old Keith Sweat got his yodeling butt on stage and decided to speak on being single because women are too entitled and don't want to cook or wash and iron his clothes no more. He says, you got to bring something to the table to get something from me. You can always tell when an old geezer got his ego bruised by a young woman because they start complaining about all the things that women don't do for them. They intentionally seek out young women and then get mad when the relationship is purely transactional and they feel like they are being used. No young woman is going to want to give and take in a relationship with a man who's twice or thrice her age with a variety of health issues. Get over yourself. If you're looking for someone that will love you for you, cook, clean, iron, and manage your high blood pressure and diabetes, go find you someone named Mary, Shirley, or Dorothy. Simple as that. So basically she's saying get someone your own age. But he talks about women being entitled. But they are simply entitled. They're entitled to a woman's labor simply because it's a woman, and they just deserve it because they feel like they are demigods who are owed something. So they expect a woman to just come in and just show their love through service to them. And all they like what is this? They need to get this out of their heads that women are going to be a servant simply because they're in a relationship. There's no mutual love, support, care that's going back and forth. They're not thinking that they owe a woman any of that reciprocity. All they think that they have to do is just show up. In times past, it would be women like raising their hands and like, I do it, king, I do it. But the women are a little bit different under this type of post. So this woman, Adrian, says, so he wants a maid, or, because it sounds like that's what he's describing, a housekeeper or butler posting on Indeed. Lynette says, exactly what I thought. And Denise says, Bama old enough now and want a nurse. And that's basically it. He gave out all his good years and now he's looking for a nurse. He's looking for someone to manage his life because he didn't get that started up or set up back when he was young. Morgan said he's shaking and phantom chewing his denture, still talking foolishness. He will die alone. Should have got married in his prime, whatever decade that was. And yeah, he was sitting here in this video kind of just shaking as he was holding his mic. Yeah, he definitely feels like he's owed something for some reason with his old self. He should have did that back when he was younger, when he could have just found him somebody. You cannot tell me this man didn't come across somebody that was worth his while back in the day. He just thought that he was going to keep trading in those women and getting a newer model or whatever. Because Dave says, well, it seemed like it worked out for Ron Isley. And Ron Isley is an outlier. That's not going to keep on happening. And Ron Isley has someone that's still like in her 40s. She's still a grown woman. What's Keith Sweat looking for? But this person, May Lee says, might be more convincing if he weren't standing there like his lower back is about to call it a night any second now. Yeah, his posture was not that great in this particular instance. I don't know who he's going for, but I bet you his audience that he's talking to is a bunch of ladies that are more mature, probably not some women that were not even born when he was in his prime. He needs to act his age and go after someone, even if anybody even still wants this man, and stop treating women like they are supposed to serve him in some capacity. Carolyn says nobody wants to care for him while cirrhosis eats up his liver. He's mad he can't con anyone into being a nurse with a purse, all the labor and asking for nothing in return. My homie LaWanda says, so he's old and broke because a man with money can pay for a housekeeper, laundress, and cook. Pathetic. And Just Devlin says, I was thinking the same thing. Like, you're supposed to have a housekeeper and chef. If you have some money, you can do that. Even if you have a normal salary and you're living by yourself, you can afford that in some capacity. Anyways, let me know what you think about this one.